Hello and welcome to the course on C Programming Learn to Code series. This is a 23rd lecture of Unit 1, and in this lecture we will continue our discussion on algorithm and flowchart. Today we are going to solve another two problem related to your while loop, and the questions are mentioned over here. Write an algorithm to print the number from 1 to 10 and draw its flowchart. And second question will be write an algorithm to add the numbers from 1 to 10 and draw its flowchart. So let's begin one by one. Okay, so before solving the first problem, that is write an algorithm to print 1 to 10, we need to recall from the last lecture, that is your Unit 1 lecture 22, regarding the concept of while loop. I hope you remember the syntax of writing a while loop, but still if you don't know, then you just go to that video and watch it, then come here and watch this video, or I am just explaining the while loop in a quick manner with some figure, so you can see here. So we are going to explain the while loop in a quick manner before solving 1 to 10. So if you able to understand the things over here, don't that is not needed to watch the previous video. But if you are not able to understand this concept, then you can go and watch the previous video. So let's begin the discussion of while loop. So the syntax of a while loop is written something like this. There will be an initialization statement, then there is then we have to write the condition. So here these are the statements that I want to execute multiple times. So that is your statement 1 through statement n. There may be single statement, there may be multiple statements. So these are actually depend on the condition written over here. Until the condition is satisfying, the statements get executed. To drive this condition means towards falsity of this condition, drive the condition towards falsity will be done through the help of this particular line. So as I have already told you, when the condition becomes true, these statements get executed, and this particular statement over here, that is increment or decrement, helps in driving the condition towards the falsity, and the loop is actually continued like this. From here, after the increment decrement is over, then it will goes to check the condition. If the condition gets satisfied, the statements get executed and the things are continued, and each of these loop is called actually a iteration. Okay, now the initialization line will be helping, means without this initialization line there will be no use of this increment or decrement line over here. Okay, so this increment and decrement line is actually helping, means will be only possible if the initialization will be there. And finally, when the condition becomes false, then the control will come out of this loop and the statement execution stops, and it will goes to the next line. If anything will be present in your program, it will go to the next line. Okay, I hope you understand the concept of writing a while loop. And now let us go for solving. That is, the problem is write an algorithm to print 1 to 10 and 10 times. 1 to 10. I want to print 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 10. So let us see how to do it. So the first step will be your start, as I have already told you. So the next step will be I want to print the number from 1 to 10. So that's why I have assigned the I value as 1. Okay, because every time I will increase the value of I and I will print the value of I. So initially I have initially the I becomes 1. So what does it mean? It will create a variable. So I'll explain it just now. Let us first see the algorithm first. So the first line will be set I is equal to 1. So what does it do? It will create a space, let's say a box. There will be a box whose name is I, and it is initialized with 1. Okay, then I have to write the condition, that is I is less than 11. So why I have written I is less than 11? Because I want to print from 1 to 10. So obviously the last statement must be 10 less than 11, then only I can print the value 10. Okay, that's why I have written 11 here. But if I will make it 10, then 10 is less than 10, the condition is going to be false, and 10 is not printed for our purpose. So that's why our algorithm will not be solved. That's why I have written I is less than 11 over here. Okay, so until the condition becomes true, then I have to print the value of I. Okay, right? So this condition, to make the condition false, we have to use the increment on decrement line that will be written over here. Set I is equal to I plus 1. So after executing this line, the control is obviously goes to this place. Okay, then that is the end while statement, and finally we will stop here. So let us take an example and understand it properly. So the example, let us execute it and understand it properly. Let's say initialize the first value, that is I is equal to 1. I have created a box and put 1 inside it. Then it goes to step number 3. So 1 is less than 11. Condition true or false? It is true. So 1 is less than 11 is true. So if it is true, then I have to print the value of I. So what is the value of I? Currently the value of I is 1. So I have to print like 1. Then it goes to execute this line, that is I is equal to I plus 1. So the box content, which is 1, is getting changed to 2. Then the control comes here. One iteration completed. Now it will check 2 is less than 11. True or false? Yes, it is true. So enter inside the loop. Print I. So what is the value of I? Now it is 2. So 2 gets printed. Okay. Then I value is get incremented by this line. So now it is 3. So box content of I is now 3. So 3 is less than 11. Condition again satisfied. So print I. So 3 will get printed. After that I will increase the value of I, that is 1. That is now the I becomes 4. So the box content of I is become 4. And this loop will continue in a similar fashion. Okay. So when the loop gets false, so think about 10 is less than 10, the condition gets satisfied, the I value 10 gets printed. Okay, so at last the 10 gets printed. When the I becomes 11, so 11 is less than 11, the condition will false, and we will come out of this loop and execute the stop button. Okay, where our algorithm stops. Okay, now it is I think I hope you understand the algorithm. Now let's go for the flowchart. So here the statement is particularly, that is print I is the statement, and every other thing you already know while you understand the syntax of the while loop. So the flowchart is something like this. The first line will be start, and it is printed like this way, start. Then the next statement is a processing statement, that is set I is equal to 1. It should be represented with a processing statement. So I have written set I is equal to 1. Then next comes the condition. So the condition is I less than 11? Question mark. So there will be a yes condition, there will be a no condition. So initially obviously it is yes. So when it is yes, we have to print the value of I. After printing it, we have to go for executing this line, that is I equal to I plus 1, which is a processing statement. So I'll write like this, set I is equal to I plus 1. After executing this, where we should go? We should go to the checking the condition again. So I have written something like that. So here it will go to this place. Fine. So when the condition true, yes, print I, increase I. Go check, yes, print I, increase I. So this iteration will continue until and unless this condition becomes false. So when the condition becomes false, we will come out of this loop and we'll stop the, so sorry, here it should not be start, it should be stop. Okay, so this is how the flowchart of this particular problem, that is write an algorithm to print 1 to 10, works. I hope you understand this one. So let us go for the discussion of the second one. If you have watched the last video, then it is very much easier to understand this one. So the second question is, write an algorithm to add numbers from 1 to 10. That means I am asking you to find out 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to ... 10 is how much. Okay, so this is the problem given to you. I want to add 1 through 10. Okay, so we know that how to increase the value. So I'm directly writing the algorithm over here. You can easily understand this but whenever I'm going to take the example. So let's begin. The first line will be start. Okay, so it is obvious. So the second line will be, I am going to take two variable over here. So one variable is to set the value of I, which is nothing but a box where I value will be stored. with 1, and it will be every time it will be incremented, the content of this box gets updated. Okay, then I will take another variable that is called sum. Sum is actually used for storing the addition result. Okay, every time one iteration completes, two numbers get added and stored inside the sum. So initially sum value is also 0, right? So initially sum value is 0, I value is 1. I want to add the content from 1 to 10. So in the first iteration I will add 1 plus the sum value, that is 0. In the second iteration, after the addition, sum value becomes 1. In the second iteration I will add sum value becomes 1 plus 2, that is 3. In the third iteration I will add 3 plus 3, that is 6. In the fourth iteration I'll add 6 plus 4, that is 10, and so on. Okay, so this is how I'm going to solve it. So you can see it over here. So the condition will be, we are going to add 1 to 10, that's why the I value must be less than 11. That means less than 11 means 10. So until 10 the condition becomes true, and when I becomes 11 the condition is instantly false. Okay, so after that what I will do, I will add this I value, because initially I value is 1 gets added to sum. Then in the second iteration I value becomes 2 is added to sum. Then in the third iteration I value is 3, so 3 becomes added to sum. So the things will be written something like this. Is the statement that is we are going to execute multiple times, so which is initially assigned as 0, but whenever the I value gets updated, that value is added to sum. So that's why I have written sum is equal to sum plus I. Then to drive this condition towards falsity, we need to increase the value of I, that is set I is equal to I plus 1. So this is your increment decrement line. Here our end while loop gets end, and finally we have to print the value of sum, which is nothing but the addition of 1 plus 2 plus up to 10. So this line will print the value of sum, and finally will stop the loop or stop the algorithm. Now let's understand with an example, means whether our purpose is solved or not. Let us see. So initially what is the value of I? I value is 1. So the first condition will be checked. So initially I value is 1, sum is 0 according to this line. Then 1 is less than 11. Condition true or false? It is true. So now what will happen? Sum plus I. So what is the value of sum? 0. I value is what? This is 1. So what is the sum value? The updated sum value? The updated sum value will be 1. Okay. This is the updated sum. Okay, fine. Now the next iteration, set I equal to I plus 1. So it will goes to this place. So I becomes 2. So 2 is less than 11. True or false? True. So that means sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, so sum value is, updated sum is 1. So what is the value of I now? So I becomes 2. Okay, so 2 plus 1 becomes what? 2 plus 1 becomes 3. So the updated value of sum is 3. Then I is equal to I plus 1. It will goes here. 3 is less than 11. True or false? True. So now again sum is equal to sum plus I. So that is the updated value of I is 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So sum value gets updated to 6. Then here I is equal to I plus 1, which is equal to 4. 4 is less than 11. It is also true. Sum is equal to sum plus I. So before that sum is 6. Now it is 4. 6 plus 4 is 10, and it will continue. Okay, so when I becomes 11, 11 is less than 11, the condition becomes false. We will come out of the loop, and at that moment of time already the sum contains the updated sum content, means the sum variable will contain the result of all the additions. Okay, so in the fourth step, when the condition becomes false, we come out of this loop and execute this line, that is print sum. So print sum means the answer will be get printed over here. Then we will stop the algorithm. So this is how the algorithm for addition of numbers from 1 to 10 will work. Okay, now instantly I am trying to solve another problem here. Suppose somebody will ask you, write an algorithm to add the numbers from 20 to 30. So what changes must be there in the algorithm? Obviously you want to add from 20 to 30, so I must be initialized to 20. Okay, and if and the condition will be changed accordingly. So the condition will be I less than 31, because you want to add from 20 to 30, not 31. So when I becomes 31, 31 is less than 31, condition becomes false. Okay, so I less than 31, and all other things will getting same same over here. Okay, so every time the I gets updated, that value is getting added to sum, which is initially 0. So it will solve the problem of adding the numbers from 20 to 30. Okay, so let us draw the flowchart for this algorithm. So the flowchart is quite simple. After writing the algorithm, you can see here, so the first line will be start, the second line will be set I is equal to 1 and sum, which is the processing statement. So I have written set I is equal to 1, sum is equal to 0. Then the condition is I is less than 11. So there is a question mark over here. If it is yes, there are two statements. Both the statements are processing statements. So that will be written like this: set sum is equal to sum plus I, and then set I is equal to I plus 1. Then after that it will goes to this line and the loop continued. When the condition becomes false, we will come to this print sum line. So that's why it is something like this. If it is no, we will come to the print sum line. After that we have to stop. Again, I have made a mistake over here. It should be stop. Okay, so now the flowchart will work something like this. I hope you understand the concept. uh, so meet in the next video. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.